All righty, it's time to talk entertainment on News 6 at 9. That means it's time to mix it up and turn it around. And CJ is here and getting us up to speed on all kinds of things going on in entertainment.
Yes. So there's a lot going on in Hollywood, and one of the big things that I always forget about this couple, and that's Katie Holmes and Jamie Foxx. I always forget they're together.
They're keeping things very low key.
They are.
I mean, I read that they've been together for 6 years, and I'm like, when did this happen?
That's new.
I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, so they've been together a while, but let's go ahead. We have some really cool stuff to show you from the ACM Awards, which aired right here on CBS Sunday night. And so many Chrissy Metz fans have no idea that she is such an amazing singer, and I know we have some sound from that.
When the nights surround you and you think that no one cares about you, I will go and throw my arms around you. I'll be there through whatever.
Sing It Girl, right? Okay, so the ACM Awards show was this past Sunday, of course, here on News 6. And some of the biggest names in country were there, but she stole the show. That is Chrissy Metz, who just blew away audiences away with her singing voice. She's a Florida native as well. I mean,
she grew up in Gainesville, which it's a hop, skip, and a jump from where I'm from in Ocala. And I actually saw her in Ocala one day. I was walking through a department store, and I was like, oh my goodness. And it was just so cool. But a lot of people didn't know that she's a singer. She actually auditioned for American Idol in 2007 and was turned down. And so what's interesting about her is her career really has just been this huge conglomerate of things. She was a talent agent for Ariana Grande. She was on American Horror Story, This Is Us. And now, so that she can sing. Oftentimes, we don't think of actors and actresses as singers, unless they're in The Greatest Showman. That's a fantastic movie that you're like. But so she really blew people away, and she was on stage with Carrie Underwood. I mean, I feel like to be able to sing
and held her own,
and held her own, and I think that's what a lot of people are saying is that she was up there with some of country music's biggest artists, and people were talking about her because. We didn't know, unless you watched This Is Us, then maybe you knew. But for someone like me that's never seen it, this blew me away.
Well, reading an interview with her, I thought it was so interesting, her talking about working as a talent agent and saying she always knew that she wanted to show love through entertainment and be an entertainer, but she wasn't pursuing singing, she wasn't pursuing acting. So even though she didn't make the cut on American Idol, she said she was glad she had that experience of sitting in a stadium for 8 hours and waiting for that audition and then being rejected.
I've done it and I've been rejected. It's brutal. It really does. It takes a toll on your psyche, but I feel like if you overcome that, and I think that's kind of what her whole career has been, is overcoming an obstacle and then smashing the next one.
Yeah, well,
and
we would never reject you.
So many dimensions, so many dimensions to that career. It's inspirational.
Yeah, and you were talking as we were starting about celebrity couples out there that seem like all they want is the spotlight, but we're talking about Katie Holmes and Jamie Foxx, and they had a public outing. It was the first time that they've been together for 6 years that they've been seen with one of their family members.
Yeah. It's like breaking news. We're not news.
I know.
We've been together for 6 years.
We've been here for a while. But it's interesting. So what I like about what they do is they keep things very private. And I think that's what we're seeing now. I think that's a trend that's happening with relationships, specifically celebrity relationships. Because if you think about it, I mean, if they sneeze, it ends up on a tabloid. So, or we talk about it. So I feel like,
or News 6 at 9.
Right, exactly. So I think for them to keep it private, and they both have children, they've got Jamie Foxx has a 25-year-old, a 12-year-old, and or a 10-year-old, and then Suri Cruz, Katie Holmes' daughter, is 10. So I think they're slowly bringing these families together in the public. They may be together behind the scenes, but I feel like, we talked about it with Julia Roberts. She really, keeps her kids kind of not sheltered, but really out of the public eye because it can be brutal.
Yes.
And so I think that's really smart for them, especially because they can be mean when it comes to these things. So to bridge those families together, that takes time and it takes a lot of effort.
It does, and so many people rush into that, and I think especially when you've been through divorces and things like that, you need to ease into bringing the kids into the mix.
Yeah, and so I think it's great that they're really taking their time, they're keeping it private, and I think that's how things are going to last for them.
Yeah, there's a new movement of the oversharing relationship starting to kind of take a step back.
Thank you.
Which is kind of nice, Well, let's talk about a different kind of entertainment. CJ, you recently wrote a blog about the card game, a very classic card game, especially in my household, Uno, and you're saying that we've been doing this all wrong.
I feel like I owe a lot of people a rematch. You know,
Yes.
you know when you go to grab that card
Have you been
and you
cheating and you didn't know it?
Yes.
Cheating is a really strong word.
Yeah.
You know when
Yeah,
you grab
it
that
is.
card and it says draw 4 and you're like, ooh, I'm gonna get that.
Yeah.
And the next
No.
person has 2 cards left and you're like, well, and you slap it down.
Boom.
Well, here's the thing. Apparently you can't just slap down a draw 4 card. So if you are playing, say it's red down and you have a red card, but you play a draw 4. Candace, if you challenge me and say, show me your hand, and I have that red card, well, suddenly then I have to draw 4 cards from the pile, and it backfires. But if you challenge me and you're wrong, then you have to take 6 cards from the pile.
I don't know about that.
It just gets so much harder now that I see them. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to play. I just thought that I could cheat and win.
You have nieces and nephews, so you have to play.
Yeah, and I
That's
cheat
kind
to
of-
win because they're really good.
They're really good.
I was gonna say that's part of being an uncle. You got to play Uno.
Yeah, well, it's just, so we've apparently been playing wrong our entire lives.
Our entire lives.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing
Okay.
feels better than when someone screams Uno and then you're right up next and you just drop that draw 4 card.
I think that's another level of cheating. I don't think you're supposed to do that after they say Uno, right, CJ?
Don't look at me.
Cause some fights.
Okay, that's
This
true.
could lead to some fighting at the card table.
Yeah.
A little bit.
That's how it
Yes.
always ends up.
Yes, and you'll be personalizing a forecast for one of CJ's listeners. Tell us about that.
Yep, so if you reach out to me on Facebook at Mix1051, on Instagram, Twitter, you can call me up at the radio station. Maybe you've got an event coming up, or maybe you're just going to be out and about this weekend and you want to know what it's going to be like over in Brevard County. Well, guess what? We can get that personalized, pinpoint, accurate forecast for you. Well, I can't. Candace can.
Yes,
Yeah.
but you're the
Facilitator.
The facilitator. Exactly.
I just add the commentary.
Exactly.
The good commentary. Yeah, yes. Last week we had dog walking, which I know Julie was
I love
talking
a
about.
dog walk.
A good personalized pinpoint for dog walks. We had boating forecasts. We got a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah, so whatever you got going on, give us a call.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, CJ. We always love your Wednesday visits.
We'll see you next week.
All right, sounds good.